Yeah. Yeah, baby. The Mac is back. Back with another session here. Last time we did bench, which means we're gonna pull this time. And that means, in the land of pulls, we, let's put the ring over here so we don't destroy it, Isildur. And, yeah, so last time we did like Camber Bar row. It's pretty good. Had a bit of fun with that. And I think before that, I'm not sure if we did our close grip row in whatever point, but I think it's time to do some pull-ups here. I'm actually going to start with my favorite method of pulling up, which is finding a cable machine. Well, that's not the right term. I think pulley is the right term. But you're going to need something with a cable and something you can pull from the top. So I like to model the pull up here. Once again, find that kind of similar angle. The full stretch at the top and a full squeeze at the bottom. Not much weight here in the beginning, but I usually like to do one set that really just goes through the motion, helps you start firing the right things. I also wanted to do back because I have quite something a bit tight or sort of jammed up in my back. So I want to see whether I can actually make that better with actually using my back instead of just being, not using it and just kind of cramping it up with day-to-day stuff. Our kid is super heavy, 2 years old, 16 kilos. Carrying that dude around ain't no joke. I have no idea how many reps I've been doing here, but that'll be the last one. So, yeah, moving that buddy around is no easy feat. We should probably start tracking this as well. So what I want to do today is, well, obviously pull-ups, but I actually want to go for heavy singles first. I want to see what we can do in that realm. It worked like a heavy single, not like a max, but we'll go pretty close. Probably like something like 90% effort. Something hard, but not full on. And once we have that calibrated, then from there I want to drop the weight, probably just the body weight, and do a bit of volume that way. So that's the plan. No idea how that's gonna transpire, but we'll see. I really love, let's adjust this a bit over here. Really love weighted pull-ups. Big fan. good idea to integrate that. So let's work some of these forearms, some of this, some of these biceps as well. We probably won't use straps today, because if we're just doing 1 rep stuff, I should be able to hold on. Actually, I take that back. I probably might use them, because that would allow me to engage my back more than not using them. We talked many times about taking your arms out of the equation when you want to focus on the back. Again, this is kind of individual, but me, as well as many others, do report that it feels like you can really get that back activation and isolation going more when you don't have to worry so much about your grip. So if your goal is to train your back, ideally, and also lessen fatigue, and it's definitely worth trying. You should definitely try pull-ups with straps and without. For me, it's kind of a big difference. So at the very least, try for yourself. Obviously, you do want to work your grip as well, so that's not a clear-cut thing, because maybe you want to get that work in there as well. Maybe you don't. Ooh, these biceps are very achy. So I'm working those traps because I have a lot of that muscle tension and those spasms there. So I'm hoping this will sort of help me get further in the workout before that begins. You know what? Let's keep it at that. We're going to do 1 reps. Let's do 1 reps. So yeah, once you get sort of past the initial tension that you might have, in terms of warming up for heavy singles, you might want to do singles. Up to, not necessarily up to that weight, but especially since if you're doing singles as your warm-up, you don't obviously get a ton of work in terms of warming up. So I prefer to do kind of a very even laddering up to the heavy singles that I'm doing, or sort of close-ish. Obviously not to the point of fatigue, but that's really up to you to assess. But I like to sort of really slowly step up to those singles. And then once I feel good to go for my target weight, then I'll just go. But I actually really, really enjoy it. Obviously, you want to make sure that you are warmed up sufficiently so you don't tear anything or anything else like that. So usually that means that the first few sets you can do a bit more reps, and once you feel good to go, you can start ramping it up. I gotta work this left side a bit more because it's already spasming, so. We're probably getting close to the limit of working with the pulley here. So that's 30 kilos added. I don't know how much it is with the sled. Probably at least 40. Which would make it my body weight. About 80. A bit more than 80 now, 81, 82. So we can do this and we'll just start wrapping up things over here. All right, let's try and center this rack. Not this rack, but that one. Fantastic joke, I know. All right. So we're gonna need the Chains of Destiny. Let's put it over here. So let's do our single pull-up just to see how it feels, and then we can start adding weight to that. All right. Cool, cool. So today, rest breaks are going to be quite a bit longer, to make sure I have the energy to focus on single work here. Get some of these plates over here. All right, who's out there today? Don't be shy. Say, hello, Marcus. It is me. All right, put the chains on. These are the things that make you a super scary fella at any commercial gym. You're a real tough guy if you have these on. This kind of reminds me of Space Marine stuff. Obviously, very, very timely topic. Some of the chains on the Space Marines. I like that. Very, very manly. Very testosterone. Alright, so chain goes around the what the fuck is this? Waist. Chain goes through the loop with the weight and back onto the belt. Simple enough. Now it hangs here, just like my balls, but just it's a plate. A bit awkward. So okay, today I might actually do this with the barbell itself, because it makes doing heavy singles a lot easier. I actually need to think this through a bit, because if I'm pulling with the rings, I gotta start from the floor. And it's a pretty rough pull. It's actually harder that way because the weight is first off and then it's suddenly all on. So let's do the barbell. That's also a hell of a lot easier than doing the rings, I gotta be honest. Because the rings I try and go as wide as possible. So usually what happens is I position them to the very edges. Like, there. Very edges, and then as I pull, my sort of the natural width of my body. Sounds very strange when you put it that way. But basically the fabric from which the rings hang, they sort of move to the inside as my body weight is pulling them down. So they sort of settle at a natural place. And then for the next set, they just are where they are, and I can pull from that position. So it's kind of automatically calibrates themselves. What's up, XPD? How you doing? Have you been working out, making gains? All right, 10 kilo. But yeah, I actually haven't been doing any pull-ups from a straight solid bar in a long time, so that feels really weird, but that also felt quite powerful. XPD says, I've been struggling trying to progress to be able to do a pull-up, and this man starts stream named pull-ups. Flexing on me. Yeah, well, you know how I am. I make these streams just to flex on you, just to piss you off, and yeah, it's called like brotherly banter, I guess. I don't know. Do you have a? Yeah, you've noticed. Do you have access to an assisted pull-up machine? They are fantastic. It's a bit of a not a lot of people will actually go on to them. So it's a bit of an ego thing for a lot of people, unfortunately, but understandably. It's kind of like a pretty strange looking thing, and it can sort of make you look, I mean, to the untrained eye and untrained mind, it can look a bit kind of humiliating, but it's not, because you're there to do pull-ups. So if you have access to like an assisted pull-up machine, fantastic, because you can put basically your entire body weight as a counterweight to begin with, which means you basically have no weight to pull up. So you can just get used to the movement and literally kilo by kilo, or even less, bit by bit, take off from that. But obviously, like, first I would just get used to the motion, displace the entire body weight for you, and once you kind of feel comfortable going with it, then start, you know, lessening the counterweight. And that's really the best way to get into pull-ups, because it makes the learning curve very, I don't know if linear is the right term, but if you start doing pull-ups with, I'm not a huge fan of bands, honestly, because they can be, again, they can require a bit of technique and experience to get right. So it's kind of a bit of a tough ask, in my estimation, for beginners. You could also start doing pull-ups with something like what we started with, warming up with a cable thing. Not quite the same, but I think it can get you to a level where you can do certainly a pull-up or a few. I'm actually a bigger fan of this rather than doing the lat pull down with like a wide grip bar with like, well, you know what it looks like. It's fucking down there on that under the table. So yeah, lat pull downs never really clicked with me, but yeah, I think this is far better because it works your entire that side of the entire range of motion of an actual pull-up, and kind of imitates the line of movement the best. And you can get a full stretch and do a full contraction, and that will translate really well to a pull-up. And that's why it's my favorite way to warm up for a pull-up. XPD says, I have similar setup to your, except it's 4 pillars instead of 2 pillars rack. Yeah. Do you have a pulley? Like, do you have like a cable pulley thing like this? Because if you do, that's kind of the second best option. I would just build strength with that. You get the full stretch, full range of motion, full squeeze. Because the lat pull down, it doesn't model the same line of movement. It's not ideal in my estimation. All right, let's do this rep. Okay. Good. You have a pulley, but it's scuffed. So I take it scuffed means fucked up, messed up, not good to go. Yeah, well, that's one thing. Then this is one that a lot of people use. I haven't ever done it myself, but people also can start with negatives. So they get something like a stool or a bench on the side, and they go to the finishing position of the pull-up. So they go from the bench to the bar like this, and then they lower themselves, but in a controlled fashion. So basically, you're training, obviously, the negative of the movement, and you can actually get good gains with that alone as well. So that's one thing. You could just do controlled negatives coming down from the bar, then get back on the stool and do it again. So that's definitely one thing to look at as well. And then also, rowing strength does also translate to the pull-up. obviously then you're not training the movement and the kind of the neural pathways of doing the movement. But if you have a lot of back strength from rowing, you will definitely be able to do pull-ups as well. Obviously it depends on your body weight for sure, but still, you know, that translates for sure. XPD asks, do I need to get my head above the bar for pull-up to be good form? So, short answer is no. So this in part depends on your dimensions, your own body mechanics. So as you see me pull up to the bar, I'm basically, if I have a bar in my hands and I pull it down here, I'm not gonna okay, how will I explain this? You see a lot of people, let me get this flat bar over here so I can emulate the pull-up. So let's say someone's doing a pull-up. Oftentimes you see people pulling themselves up here, and then they sort of yank their head above the bar just to get it over the bar, which doesn't anymore train your back, really. What you're doing at this point is you're basically extending your head, your jaw to go above the bar, over the bar. That's not the point of the exercise. The point of the exercise is to train your back. And people get so caught up in the idea of, oh, I need to get my head above the bar, that they do anything to get your head beyond the bar. And actually, if you do that, it can build bad motor patterns, and you can get a messed up neck, etc. doing that. But I'd say it really depends on your like if I'm hanging from pull-up bar and I pull all the way, I'm probably gonna, my maximal range of motion is probably gonna be around here, as you'll probably see in a few seconds as I do a pull-up. So it's sort of maybe somewhere around here. Now, when it comes to doing a pull-up with two hands, etc., if I'm just focusing on back contraction, I want to pull my arm from here to here and do a full lat squeeze contraction. If I'm doing it symmetrically with two hands, that's going to be my maximum range of motion. So me trying to get my head above the bar doesn't achieve what I'm trying to do. Now, that depends on things like, again, your body dimensions, your muscle tightness, your flexibility, all kinds of things. So for some people, a full range of motion is going to be, like if I do it here on its own, you can see that my hands do indeed, you know, come under my chin. But it's a different thing as I'm on the bar and actually, you know, pulling myself. It's not the same, it's not going to be the same position as my back muscles are actually activating. So the most important thing is that you work with your natural range of motion, because maybe your range of motion is less because you have tightness, you're not as flexible. Again, your body dimensions, size, everything factors in. So as long as you're not falling short of the full range of motion that you can really do right now, you're good. And it's going to increase as you do more and more of it and, you know, gain strength, flexibility, etc. So just getting your head above the bar is not the goal. The goal should be to go through your full range of motion, whatever that may be right now for you. And it's always a good idea to go through the full range of motion. It's trains your muscles optimally. XPD says, I'm built like Gimli. Yeah, so this is kind of something you always want to remember with body weight exercises, is that, shit, did we do, I don't think we did 15 kilos yet. So yeah, so body weight exercises, you're obviously moving more weight if you're a bigger fella. So That's why it's a better idea for you to maybe start with barbell movements or movements that take your body weight out of the equation, or even go with movements that actually where your body weight kind of benefits the movement, like something like a deadlift. That can certainly be the case, or certain types of rows, like if you're doing rope pulling like a sled or something like that. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I would in your case, because doing a pull-up is, again, it's all about, it's a movement that is in relation to your body weight. So if it's really tough for you, it's better that you spend that time working with a barbell, you know, building strength, building muscle. And if you want to lose weight, then losing weight while doing that. And then once you get to a sort of more balanced body composition that you want to have, then you can transition into pull-ups. It's a tremendous exercise, and I really do recommend that everybody does pull-ups, or they attempt to get to a point where they can do pull-ups. But it's not like an innate value in itself. I think it's a great exercise because it really keeps your body quite healthy and strong. But again, you have to remember that it's a matter of your body weight as well. So if we think about professional strongmen, they are incredibly, obviously, strong and big. They have a lot of muscle, and they also weigh a ton. Like, not literally, but they can weigh, you know, close to 200 kilos, some of these guys, I think, at their biggest. So obviously, even though they have enormous strength and muscle in their back, it's going to be very hard for them to do pull-ups. Now, they're so strong that despite their body weight, they still can do pull-ups. Usually not very many, maybe in the category of sub 10 or something. That depends. There are different types of strongmen for sure, but generally, you know, the biggest guys can do probably sub 10. Maybe they can do 5 to 10 pull-ups or something like that in one go. So yeah, again, pull-ups is always, as a measurement of strength, is always entirely, it's entirely, what's the word? Relative to, obviously, the weight that you're pulling. Like we are now, we're adding weight to my body weight. So right now we would be at maybe 97 kilos, just under 100 kilos. So if I weighed 100 kilos, you know, this is what it would, this is what it would be like. All right, cool. It's feeling surprisingly good. So yeah, I didn't actually pay attention to my range of motion there, but that was, you know, the range of motion I would do at this stage, at least. But again, yeah, if your head goes above the bar and it's a natural range of motion for you, then great. That's all fine and dandy. And in that case, I would encourage people to do that, because it would be their full range of motion for an actual back pull. XPD says, I tried to do what you call negatives and noticed something odd. All right. Do share. Oh, my trousers. I'll make sure I don't drop them on air. I know some people do that on purpose, but this ain't one of those channels. Alright, so XPD says, if I go from top position and do negative, I can continue doing pull-ups as long as I don't go all the way down. But if I fully extend my arms, I can no longer move up at all. So oh, you mean, so if you do the negative and you go down, you can actually do a pull-up back up, and yeah. So Expedia says something is disbalanced with my muscles at the very start of a pull-up. So that sounds very logical to me, because we are at our weakest at the extremes end, at the extreme ends of a movement. So when you're hanging from the pull-up bar, this is your weakest position by far, because you have the least amount of muscle to apply to get the movement to initiate. And this is actually one of the reasons why people, when they start working out at the gym, they don't do full range of motion, because doing full range of motion reveals where you are at your weakest. And because usually new trainers, new gym goers don't want to feel weak and they want to do more weight, they do partial reps, as we call them. So they don't go through the full range of motion, because they can't go through the full range of motion, at least not with the weight that their ego wants to work with. And please do correct me if I misunderstood what you meant. So yeah, when you're coming down from the bar, you have pretty much a lot more of your strength and your muscle available to you at this range of motion. Sorry, let me do this again. At this range of motion, I can do a hell of a lot more work doing this than I can do going from here to here. It's a lot more work, it's a lot more difficult, it's a lot harder. And that's usually why, again, beginners can avoid doing the full range of motion. But doing the full range of motion would be better for you. It's healthier, makes you stronger, makes you bigger. You have to do less weight in the beginning. And again, a lot of people don't want to do that because it feels like, oh shit, I'm weak. I want to do more plates, but it's a mistake. It's far better if you spend your time with the less weights and going through the full range of motion and building up that strength. And then once you have that foundation, then you can begin to progress far further than the beginners who don't do that. Because often what happens is, you don't go through the full range of motion. You want to add plates and plates. And this is how you start to get like injuries, nagging injuries, because you're trying to push the weight, but your joints, muscles, ligaments, tendons, everything, it's not used to handling that weight. And also, since you're going through, let's say, bench press, you're doing partial range of motion, you are taxing certain parts of your body more than they should be. Now, give me a second here. Yeah, sorry about that. My kid and my dad came through here, so. So yeah, doing partials is not the right term. If you don't do full range of motion, it's just a recipe for disaster and injury. In the long run, you're going to bump into a wall, and then you have nagging injuries, all kind of. And like you said you were suspecting like an imbalance. And if you don't do full range of motion work, you're bound to have imbalances very fast. You'll feel pretty strong, at the top of a bench press, let's say, but then you have no strength here to actually move the bar. And also, you're training yourself in a way that, this is, in a case of pull-up, you're saying, oh, this is the motion that I'm training. but you're not training this part of the movement at all. So you're also neurologically speaking going to be weaker in that position. But I would say this kind of imbalance that you talk about is simply comes from the fact that you're not training that portion of the movement. So neurologically, you're not as efficient in that part. But also in a full hang, when you're hanging from the bar, you're getting such a good stretch on your muscles, which is a really big part of a lot of things, obviously mobility, but also training the muscle itself. We want to go from a long stretch to a full contraction. So that part is completely missing if you're just doing a pull-up, you know, from here to here. So yeah, it's definitely humbling and difficult to like have the patience to do full range of motion, and then you're doing minuscule weights, but that's the right thing to do. And then as you get that technique locked in and you're used to doing the full range of motion, then once you start adding the weight, you will, you know, skyrocket. So definitely one of the most important things that beginners shouldn't be skipping. All right, let's do one. So this is 20 kilos now. We are probably altogether we weigh about maybe 102 kilos now. All right. Still feeling pretty good. XBD says, in my pulley system I don't have leg anchor, so when doing lat pull down, if I fully extend arms, it brings me up from the chair with a lot of weight. So I didn't do that often. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that would make sense, because you're avoiding it and then you're just doing partial reps. So you're absolutely right. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. And again, it's like if you're doing heavy pulls from like a pulley, you want it to be sturdy for sure, like legit safety concern. Want it to be heavy duty enough and ideally bolted to the ground. This one isn't, but I do the heavy stuff just with barbells or compound stuff in the rack. So it's more like a supplementary thing. So yeah, the good thing about doing the one arm stuff obviously is that you don't have to use as much weight because you're using one arm at a time. So even in your case, as long as it's secure, again, you don't want to, because as you're pulling, you don't want to tip the whole thing over. As long as it's secure, you might be able to get further with this one arm at a time approach. If you can if your pulley kind of works that way. So I don't know if you've seen me do these, but I'll just demonstrate to you in case you didn't see that. So what's important is I think about like the natural grip width and position of my arms, and I sort of try and model that before I do a pull. So I'll actually I'll go in line with the pulley, get my arm in there. I usually do like, how many degrees would this be? It's probably like, let me try and count. 60? No, probably less. So this would be, no, let me try and get this right. That would be 90. But yeah, maybe like a 45 degree angle, maybe 40 to whichever, you know, if I'm working my right hand, then I'll turn left. But you want to make sure that you sort of have your body in line with the rack, or sorry, with the pulley, so that again, when you pull, that the weight is dispersing evenly to the foundation of the pulley. And here, you basically want to think about as if you were doing like a pull-up, but you're just doing one arm at a time. I like to hold my hand here on my lat so I can feel it squeeze. And then I'll just basically do a full hang, completely as far high up as I can go. And then think about squeezing your lat, and also you can do a slight sort of, what's the word? Tilt to your side, as if you're kind of squeezing your body to the side. Not excessively, just like a slight tilt, because it helps you initiate the movement and do a full squeeze. And do a full rep, as far down as you can, squeeze, and then go back. And you can basically build a pretty good pull-up foundation doing that. So that's how I do those. I've never seen anyone else do that, but I started doing them because I couldn't find a good pull-up warm-up routine, like a good pull-up warm-up exercise. I tried the lat pull down. It's pretty bad for someone like me. Because again, I don't feel like I can actually go through the full range of motion. And it also doesn't really work because when you're pulling it down, you sort of have this additional axis of movement back and forth, which is not the case with a pull-up because you're fixed to it and you can only pull yourself in relation to that fixed position. With a lat pull down, when you're pulling it down, it's possible for this movement to occur. And if you get your starting position on the bench that you're sitting on, if you get it even slightly wrong, it's gonna be it's not great. I do have Discord. We actually have a Discord server. We only have a few people there, but you can join there. If you go to my website, it's just Marcus Junikala.com, that's Finnish, .com. You'll find it there if you just go down to the social links. There's the Discord there. There should be, I think there should be a tab also for lifting stuff. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, you sent me a message there. My Discord is so slow on this laptop. Did you? Okay, maybe it was someone else who sent me pictures of... Yeah, you can send me stuff. All right, let's pick up the big baby. So this is 25 kilos. So with this, we have now probably about a combined weight of 107 kilos. I absolutely love chaining this stuff on my waist. It makes me feel much more manlier than I actually am. Yeah, it feels really good. Chain weight to yourself and move yourself. That's some good shit right there. All right, let's go over here. Yeah, okay. So that's the first one that actually felt heavy. A hell of a lot heavier than the 20 kilo. That still felt very comfortable. So that's good. So probably at my peak, how much did I pull? added weight. Actually wonder if I have anything here. So if I remember correctly, it's probably something around 50, 60, and my body weight was probably around 90 something. So let's try and see. Can I find that? Yeah, okay, here we go. My weight was 90. Yeah, so it's probably yeah, probably just about at 60. I think I've done 60 something, which would put me at that body weight at that time just barely in the advanced category. I was advanced as fuck. Okay, let me check. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is, yeah, I remember you sent me stuff before. Okay, let me have a look at this. So is this like the new thing you bought, or is this the old thing you had before? Yeah, I think you have those. I was just thinking whether you could have something to secure you in position. I think if you're generally pulling, yeah. Well, if it's moving around like that, there's no reason to push it, because you can't, because the whole thing is going to fall on you. So if I was you, I would just do like heavy rows with the barbell instead. It's better, you know, time better spent. What's up, Danielle? Oh, this dude got a legendary beard. Thank you. That's a very, very kind thing to hear. It's been getting a bit white during the past few years. Quite white. But I welcome it. It's I'm rather fond of it. Okay, so 30 kilos. This might be our limit, because that 25 was pretty heavy, I gotta say. So 30 added kilos puts us at 100. Sorry, 112 maybe in total. So let's hope we can get this done. All right. Oh. Yeah, bitch. I fucking did it, mate. I fucking did it. Oh. You know what? I think we're gonna do one more jump, and we're gonna do that with straps, because I feel my grip would almost exploded from doing that. So definitely gonna need that, but I think it might be doable if we get the straps. So my grip is certainly getting to its limit there. But might be possible with these things. Okay, oh, that's especially with the bumper plates, since they are much bigger visually. You get a bit of a good ego boost from moving this stuff around. Not that it's light either, but this would look very different if we had very thin steel plates. One of the unspoken benefits of bumper plates, you get to feel a lot better about yourself. I actually really miss this type of training, so I don't know. I might be leaning more towards what I was doing previously. I've been exploring with this with these other methods, but I just seem to gravitate towards, you know, what I've discovered before. XPD says, it's definitely scapular depression that's the weak part. Doing horizontal rows, I can do much higher weight. Yeah, it's that is, with a heavier body weight, it's kind of like, it is what it is. Gotta find like another fix. If you haven't tried, I mean, I know I kind of shat on bands. Again, nothing against bands. I just don't personally like working with them. It's a bit of a hassle, and then kind of getting them to the right place at a time. Not right time. Right place, right positioning, right alignment. Then you need several different bands. You need to set it up. You need to get used to getting into the band, and then but a lot of people love them. They think they're great, and yeah, obviously it helps you do pull-ups if you can't do pull-ups. So it's a great tool for sure. So don't get me wrong on that. It's absolutely great. Thanks for the follow on TikTok. You get Alpha. That's a good name. It's a good name right there. Nice to have you with us. So, yeah, bands are really good if they work for you. So look into that. That in your situation, since you did have a pull-up bar there, right? Yeah. Do you? Yes, you do. Or I assume those are okay for pull-ups, those between bars. By the way, you should check that they are, because they're... Just because it's a rack doesn't mean it's necessarily okayed for that. But if they are, yeah, band can be really, really good tool. I'd say if you don't do pull-ups, really the biggest benefit that you're missing out on is shoulder health, because it's, for some reason, it's really good that we hang from somewhere for the shoulder. Obviously it gets really stretched out, and most people almost never are in this position anymore. Whereas if you were a monkey, you would be in that position for a long time, or a big part of the day, I would assume. I don't know much about being a monkey, although I look the part, but you know. But yeah. Okay, this is a lot of... Looks like, a lot of weight for me. Oh, shit the bed. Oh, shit the bed. Oh. this, I might be overreaching here. We don't know. XPD says, bands have awkward resistance curve, but they do work for me. I just did 5 assisted pull-ups with a band, but it provides most help in the bottom position where I'm weakest. Yeah, well, that's exactly what you want, really. What you then do is you lessen the assistance that the band does. So ideally you would have multiple bands, and then you just lessen because all bands have the amount of force that they apply in their stretched position. So you just get a band that does less of it, and that's how you can work your way to the pull-up. But again, it's important to remember that if you have a lot of like extra body weight in relation to what you want to be carrying around, then it might, like, pull-ups might be, the risk to reward ratio might be just not good. So, and I understand that it can be like a mental thing for a lot of people. Like, I want to do a pull-up, but if you're not using the right tools, then it's just like, it might be too far from, I wouldn't say too far from your reach right now, but you would have to tick so many boxes to get them right so that you can do those assisted pull-ups well, that it's kind of like the risk to reward ratio is not great, because you might be, yeah, let's just leave it at that. But yeah, if you just if you lose weight, obviously they will get gradually easier and easier, and then at some point you can start doing them far easier. But again, I wouldn't discourage anyone from doing them, but you just need to do them right. You just need to make that assistance, design it properly and sensibly. But it shouldn't be like an ego thing, because they're just really bloody hard if you have a lot of excess weight. So you shouldn't get too caught up in that, because in the meanwhile you can just develop a crazy rowing strength and then lose weight, and then you'll be able to do a ton of pull-ups once you are within a weight range that makes more sense for pull-ups. So, but yeah, if you have more bands, just use those. Keep using them. But yeah, the main thing is the main thing is that you keep losing the weight, because that's the most difficult thing in pull-ups. All right, so okay, this is pretty heavy. Okay, so you weigh 84 kilos and 178. Basically flip around because I'm 187, I think, at least, in high school when I was measured. I literally haven't measured my height, but that's what it was then. And I'm not even quite 84 kilos. I'm probably, like, right now, maybe 82, 83, something like that during the day. Okay, this is heavy. Okay, so in total 35. So we weigh 100 and 35 kilos. Yeah, 117 kilos or something like that. If I can count, which is definitely a realm in which we can be making mistakes in. All right. All right, so it actually feels, again, a lot more viable with the straps. But as you can see there, as I'm pulling up, my range of motion is more limited because I need to move more weight. So getting from here to here is more difficult. So as the weight increases, the range of motion is also gonna decrease. But cool, I mean, we can definitely pull more with a strap, but my form, the range of motion is not gonna be, it's not gonna get any better. It's gonna get worse. So not what I'm looking to do. So let me jot down that. So 35. It's not, we could probably do about 40 something now. So I'm pretty content with that right now at this stage. So that concludes the part of this. And then we'll just we'll do some body weight stuff. Body weight pull-ups to wrap this up. XBD asks, are you only doing 1 rep max today? No. So yeah, like I said, we'll just we'll do a few sets of body weight here with more reps, and that'll be it for today. I don't know how much we're gonna do. There's a guy on TikTok saying, I hope you die. For that guy, I've got good news because we're all gonna die. So he's a lucky person because his wish will come true. But I like the fact that he's kind of hopeful about it. Like, hopefully. instead of absolute certainty. All right, so body weight. I'll get the rings back in here because will I? You know what? Maybe not. Let's continue with the bar here. I just want to see how this changes. So, well, I don't know exactly how many reps I'm going to do here now. I want to get a feel for it, and then we'll do that amount for each set. Alright, so we'll do 5s. It will probably be more sets due to that. I'll probably take the straps because my grip is, I do feel that as a limiting factor. So I'll definitely do less reps if my grip is failing as opposed to not. Yeah, I'm doing multi-streaming. So I'm using Streamlabs, which allows me to go on multiple platforms. So this is going on Facebook, Instagram, Trovo apparently as well, Twitch, X, YouTube, and are there any more? Let me check. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think, yeah, those are the ones. So, yeah, it's just kind of like might as well type of a thing. I'm really not like a platform, what's the word? Platform. loyalist. I don't know. But it's obviously I like some of them more than the others, but I don't really not sort of stuck to any one of those. So if I can multi-stream, might as well grab a few odd viewers here and there from different places. And yeah, that's my reasoning there. Right, so and yeah, also when it comes to pull-ups, quality over quantity. So I'm at least trying to go up as, you know, explosively controlled as possible, and then lower myself down slowly, or in a controlled fashion. That's a lot better, because again, once you grab that bar, if your goal is, oh, I want to do as many reps as possible, then you are enticed to go as fast as possible, obviously. Because, you know, it's like when you're a kid, people are like, how many pull-ups can you do? And then you're like, oh, I can do 15. And then you're just like as fast as possible, because obviously it gets progressively harder the longer you hang there, and the more you control the movement, the harder it gets. So, you know, 10 very controlled, slow, eccentric pull-ups, very different from just banging 10 going up and down as fast as possible. So if your goal is to build muscle, and I would even argue strength, then this is a lot better. Quality over that quantity. So XPD says odd viewers. Yeah, I mean, some people are just really fucked up. And also, there are a lot of bots. This seems like a bot because it said it 5 times. It's there's a lot of weird stuff happening. A lot of it isn't actual people, so it's not worth getting worked up over that. And also, if you are an actual people and an actual person, and you say stuff like that to people, then that's a very, very sad thing. It's a very sad person. So, no, there is pity in my heart rather than anything else. All right, let me make sure I get all of this tracked. So this is our third set. That's a bit slower than I would prefer to go, but I had a bit of a swing there, and I didn't want that to get worse, so I'd rather kind of let it even out. Hanging there a bit longer, obviously, makes it tougher, but that's fine. A bit more time under tension. It's good stuff. right. Cool. This is probably a bit less. Could have maybe, or should have maybe added a rep or two into each set, but that's fine. I haven't done those heavy singles in a while, so this will probably be more fatiguing than I expected. So it's okay. We can go from there. Cool. Alright, I think that's it. I'm not going to do arm stuff here anymore because I actually didn't used to do any arm stuff, and that's when I had my biggest arms because I was just doing more weight on compound exercises. So, and also for the sake of time here, I'm gonna call it here. But good, I'm actually really happy with this session. Singles felt good. Was probably about the kind of result that I expected, but yeah, good work. A few body weight reps there as well. So good session. That's it for today. Thanks for the follows on wherever you may be watching. And as always, take care of yourself. I'll see you next time. Yeah, finished.